You chant. They're all saturated with divine grace. Therefore, there's no hard and fast rule how, when, and where to chant the holy names. There's no hard and fast rules. And this comes very, very beautiful because of this attitude of Lord Chaitanya. We can actually celebrate this Krishna consciousness in such a nice way. Krishna consciousness, I had a very beautiful experience not long ago in La Sierra Nevada. After we founded Ikwa during the day, there was no electricity and there were many people from different cultures. So they had no program for the night. Like yesterday we had a program at night with drama and everything. Thank you. Very nice drama. So there was no program of the night, and so we were all standing there looking at each other. So I asked the host whether I can chant. And he said, chant, yes, chant, why not chant? So I started chanting with my charango, started to chant a few names of God. For example, I chanted Viracocha, which is a native name of God in the Inca tradition. Viracocha, please let me become an instrument of your love. Then I chanted Serangua. Kaku Serangua in the Arhuaco language or in the whole Sierra Nevada is a name of God, powerful. Also makes reference to the sun, but it's like the sun and beyond the sun. It's not just like worship of the sun globe. And Ati Senekang is female power, which is represented also again as Mother Earth, but not confined to Mother Earth. So Kaku Serangwa e Ati Senekang. So I started singing Kaku Serangwa, déjeme ser un instrumento de su amor. Entonces, then I was chanting, of course, Mahamantra and so many mantras. And before I knew it, just in front of me, it became like a transcendental native dance club. And I saw a 70-year-old sagas, which are like the women priests of the natives, were dancing it out, and they were like, it was everybody was just enjoying the happiness of that we all belong to each other. Without any rules and regulations or previous discussions or etiquette on what to do and what not to do and what to chant, what not to chant. You know, in India, for example, there's a local deity. Everywhere is a local deity. And the local deity is called Ishtade. So if I go to a temple of Nataji in Natadwar and I sing Vishwanatha Sambhu, Kasi Vishwanatha Shambhu, which is the deity of Kasi Vishwanath, which is also a name of Lord Shiva, no? So if I chant that in front of Natadwar, then they will look at me, Yeah, that's okay. Vishwanath, of course, we believe in Hare Hare Mahadeva Shambhu Kasi Vishwanatha Gange. It's a mantra de Kasi, de Varanasi. That's what they chant there. If you chant that there, now if I go in the temple of Vishwanatha in Kasi and I chant Jayanatha Dwar, Jayanatha Dwar, Jayanatha Dwar. Again they look at me. What happened to you? So, in other words, it is a natural and important thing to show respect to the local Ishta. It's like if I come to Mallorca, I say, what horrible rock is there in the Mediterranean, which they call Mallorca? Huh? Everybody will look at me. Are you mad? Are you mad? You have no regard for this beautiful, wonderful manifestation of grace which grows our food and gives us our joy and life and happiness. You have no regard for this? Get out of here. Huh? Take a hike. So it's a very natural and very important thing to show respect to the people where you are for the Ishta, because don't forget that there are many names for the same Lord. And these names, if they are chanted with devotion and with submission to the well-being of everyone, then they are divine names. Just this morning I was listening with Brahma to a class of Prabhupada, and somebody asked him, what is the difference between a Vaishnava and a serious Christian who's following the original Christian principle? And Prabhupada said only one word: nothing. There is no difference. So, open-mindedness and accommodating others, the harmony. I mean, I had once a debate with a Buddhist, because I was a Buddhist also a little bit, kind of, before I met the Vedas and all that. I actually first read the Buddhist because I came from Lao Tse side. So then I went in the World Parliament of Religion, I went to one lecture of a very great Buddhist scholar. And my God, was he a great speaker. Was he a great speaker? What a scholar. And he was also a scientist, so he could explain the material world with all its intricacies, like, sometimes scientists can blow your mind when they give you information about the nitty-gritties of this body and this universe and this and that. And then after he gave this spectacular class, he said, and do you know what is the most surprising of all? That all this which I've explained to you, it comes from nothing. And on that note, he ended the class. And he didn't ask questions. So I got up. He gained a big applause for his class because it was a spectacular class. I walked straight up with him and said, Professor, I'm greatly dissatisfied, because what you said doesn't make any sense to me. That all this, what you explained so elaborately and eloquently, all this is supposed to come from nothing? This is absolutely not reasonable, what you're saying. And he smiled at me with this special smile I can't describe. And he said, who told you that nothing means nothing? I said, I meant to say it comes from nothing material. Oh, it comes from nothing material. You mean it comes from something spiritual? Yes. I said, okay, then we have no problem. Thank you. Congratulations. I didn't want to have more conversation. Argumentation, let's say, no? Okay, Buddhism means nirvana. The nirvana is the nothingness of material existence. What is that called in the Vedas? It is called Mahapralaya. When the entire material cosmos gets dissolved and gets absorbed into the pradana of the energy of the divine, but that is nothingness. There's no planets left. There's no individual people as such noticeable. They all merge into pradana, nirvana, nothingness. But that nothingness exists within the divine, eternal proportion, which in this case is the Karuna Dakashayi Vishnu, who has created the universes to begin with. They are floating, they are they're little bubbles coming from the pores of his divine body. and all this description which is there in the Bhagavatam. And then again you find that that is also getting dissolved at a certain point. So, last not least, there's just different informations, and they're subscribed to in a way as different traditions have described it, and everybody of course is attached to the way it was described by his masters. To a certain point people cling to it like a dogma. This is the way it is and nothing else goes, even though they are just words describing the same phenomena, just a little bit different. But in the end we all agree on one thing, and that is that the solution to go to the higher realm is to start loving each other here, and that this love goes highest. And that love, of course, includes the love for God, the love for the infinite, the love for the detail. Because if there's no love in the detail, don't go in the kitchen, please. Because you're going to cook up a mess. Because the kitchen is full of details. The work on the altar is full of details. The work of counseling is full of details. It's how you look, how you listen, how you speak. Everything, every detail has importance. Even football is full of details. If you don't know the details, you lose every game. So they kick you out from the group. You're useless. You don't know the details of football. Huh? Table tennis is full of details. You have to know how to hold this handle, that this ball ends up on the other side. Huh? It's so detailed and so refined you can't even describe it. You can only feel it, experience it, and see the result. Huh? In the case of table tennis, it's a little bit more easy to see the result. See it at once. So, details. Everything is made of details in this creation. So not surprising that devotion also has details, no? That puja has details. That cult, worship, has details. The world of details is the world of defining and manifesting our determination. Details, determination, associated words. So, broad-mindedness in spirituality. That night I started chanting, and the chanting went on for 4 hours. Not only I chanted, it was just naturally making its round. One stopped, the other started, but it was non-stop 4 hours of chanting. And it was recorded too. Of course there was no light, but you can see it on the website. One devotee put together a report on that meeting with pictures which were taken there and the recording. So the holy name beyond the hard and fast rules. That is the essence of love. Actually, it says Patram Pushpam Phalam Tuyam Yome Bhaktya Pramashit. says that you can offer me with love and devotion a flower, a fruit, a little water, then I will accept it. So same principle applies here. You can chant. You can chant with love and devotion. It will be accepted. It doesn't matter what name of God you chant. It matters whether you chant from your heart. It matters whether you're actually calling upon Him. He understands every language. One of Krishna's names means He understands and speaks the language of every animal and every man. He can even understand the language of the insects. You know the bees have a language? Very sophisticated language. When they find somewhere, they find some honey sauce, they go back to the hive and they do a certain dance. And by that dance, everybody, okay, let's go. And they tell stories, communication. Maybe you have ever watched ants. They're going both directions. Once in a while, they touch each other and they give the message. And off you go. No? It's so well organized. I made a Gopeshwar Mahadev temple in a termite hill. That was a wonderful experience because, I was in the farm in Brazil somewhere in the middle of Minas Gerais, and some friend of mine, he sent me a deity of Gopeshwar Mahadev as a gift. He had made those deities himself. So he sent them to me. He liked Gopeshwar Mahadev. So I had this deity. How are we going to make a temple here? Quick, what am I going to do? Where am I going to put this deity? And I saw this big termite hill just in the entrance. I said, wow. I asked the devotees, are there still termites inside? No, they said they've already left. I guess I get tired of their things or something, their palaces, or to see something else, or who knows what. Anyhow, so I started taking a knife, a strong knife, and started cutting the termite hill. Because I was carving in the termite hill. I got to know what is a termite hill. They have walls like this, made up of millions of chambers, all with thin walls between each chamber. Like in one portion, like 1 square feet of that wall, you probably have 150,000 chambers. Of course, with perfect walkways in between, so you can reach each chamber. A termite is a teeny little insect, You're not really happy when you see it because it means it's eaten your wood in your house, But otherwise, it's not doing harm to anybody, Anyway, this teeny little termite, they have engineers. Now, wait, this is just the beginning, their chambers. Now, in the middle of the termite hill goes like 1.5 meters wide and round, and it can go 3 meters up, 4 meters up. 4 meters is rare, but 2.5 meters is common. Goes up and it looks like a tree almost. In the middle there is a chamber, the assembly hall. The assembly hall is perfectly irrigated and everything, ventilated, irrigated, everything is there. And I don't know what they have, Maha Istagostis maybe, I don't know. Maybe the queen comes out to one of the chambers and says, okay folks, now our plan is, because termites have a queen, no? Bees have a queen. The male society in the bee community is not really of that high consideration. If you ever know what that's like. You know that? No? The male are only to impregnate, then they're kicked out. After they're impregnating the queen, then they say, bye-bye. We don't have more food for you guys. Go get your own. Because the beehive is a well-organized colony. They have everything. They have storage, honey storage and everything. But the male ones, you lazy bums, get out of here. So, Sangalolo, they're called, no? So, you see, it's an interesting world, no? So, when I was making this temple for Lord Shiva, cut in there, I have a picture of it if you want to see it later. And Lord Shiva fitted in there. It was such a beautiful little shrine. I really said, what am I doing here? I'm penetrating a kingdom of these termites where I can actually see how they lived here, how they were having an entire society in 1.5 and 2 meter mountain. Who organized that? How did they get to agree upon how to make this termite hill? Who were the architects? Can you imagine all these thin little walls and how hard they are? When they take the mud and, I don't know, they chew it up or something, it becomes like cement. Huh? I mean, those termite hills, they stand there for 100, 200 years or more. The wind and rain doesn't do anything to them. And they're made of mud with termite brain. So, our Lord and His divine plan and creation and dimensions is absolutely marvelous. It blows your brain as many times as you want. Just open your eyes and see. How the insects and the hummingbirds are taking the nectar from the flowers. Some hummingbirds are this big. They're flying all around collecting the nectar. One time in Costa Rica, first and only time in my life I saw the nest of a hummingbird. I don't know what happened to this hummingbird, but it made the nest right in front, hanging from a vine over the door of our ashram. So every time we got out, we saw the little hummingbird babies. The whole thing's like this. Babies, mama, everybody feeding. We saw in Bulgaria now also, but these were swallows. That was pretty amazing. In the middle of the class, the mama and papa were coming and feeding the kids. And sometimes after mama and papa left, then the kids were arguing. Hey, why you're so pushy? No? Why you always trying to get the food first? I mean, arguments like little kids have. You see, whatever God has made, it is absolutely beautiful and meaningful and well thought out. And He's behind that, who we want to give our love to. And whoever wants to give his love to Him and praise to Him, he's a devotee. He's a devotee. And as soon as you do that, obviously, there's a side effect that you have to make sure that you don't hurt any brothers and sisters. That is a natural and necessary side effect. Srimad Bhagavatam, Sharga Visharga, creation of this world and the sub-creation of all the living entities, has been described very nicely. Ato Sharga Vishargascha, Jnanam Poshanam. It's the 10 subjects of Srimad Bhagavatam. 10 subject matters we all have to study if we want to know more about the marvelous divine plans of the Lord. And the final one is shelter. The final subject is where is shelter and how to take shelter. After you go through everything, the manvantaras and maintenance, organizing, Krishna has everything well organized. Water, for example, is the only substance when it becomes cold, when it freezes. It's lighter than water. Water is the only substance which becomes lighter when it's frozen. That's why we have snow mountains, ice mountains, icebergs floating in the water. Otherwise they would all go down. And everything would be finished. Without the icebergs, this planet would be finished. That keeps the temperature of the whole planet working. Incredible sweet water supply is there. The whole system is just wonderful. And another interesting information which I recently read is that water cannot be produced in the laboratory. Even though we have H2O, we know the formula of it, we can't make it. Nobody knows where the water comes from. It's not a known. We know the content, but we can't make it. Like P and Phi and water, we just don't know where it comes from. We also don't know where the Bhagavad Gita comes from. I mean, of course, there's the history to it, how and when the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. But the Bhagavad Gita is speaking everything material and spiritual comes from me. The wise who knows this perfectly, he worships me with all their heart. So Krishna said, you can't know. You can't know where I come from. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaropihi prakritim svam adishtaya sambhavami atma mayaya. I appear in my transcendental original form in this material world. People cannot understand this. Some even deride the Lord. They say, no, this cannot be. Krishna, he must be just like you and me. He's just a philosopher. Just a smart guy. It's a very big question. Is Krishna a smart guy or is he? But if he would be a smart guy, he would be a smart cheat. Because then everything he says is a big lie. Because when you declare such things as Savasya cham ridesani vishtu matas mite jnanam aponam cha vedaischa sarvair ahang eva vedyo vedanta krit vedavit eva cham. When you declare things like, I am situated in the heart of all living entity, from me comes knowledge, forgetfulness, and memory. I am the compiler of the Vedas, I am the knower of the Vedas, and by all the Vedas, it is me who is supposed to be known. If somebody says that, you should lock him up in jail, no? Huh? Either it's true, and you worship him, or you lock him up. Huh? How can he say such a thing? Post-dated check or something like that. Like I go to you, say, you need money? No problem, here, $1 million. Put it on a check, take it. He says, but you got no money in the bank, why you give me a paper which says $1 million? I said, well, maybe I have in the future. That's what they call post-dated checks. So are you going to give away your life against the payment of a post-dated check? You chant the holy name of Krishna. You give your life to Krishna, you ask him. You're asking the infinite Lord, Lord of Lords, the knower of everything. You ask him for his grace. One time I was sitting with Tripurari Maharaj to get an audience of Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj. Puri Maharaj, by that time he was 95 years. And he knew we were waiting to get his darshan. This took place in Chaitanya Gaudiya Math in Vrindavan, in Karti. So we were sitting and chanting. Puri Maharaj went to see the deity. He came out of his room and his ritual. So he went and he did 4 times circumambulation of the deity. After each circumambulation, prostrated dandavats. Now he's 95 years, try to get down, have a prostrated dandavat. Huh? This he did, all prayers, dandavats. So when we thought he's going to come down and speak with us, then he went to Madhava Maharaj, his god brother. Then he did the tour of dandavats of him. My God. Worshipping his god brother, worshipping Tulasi. Fine. Tripurari Maharaj looked at me and he said, Maharaj, this process is only and all about praying. That's what he was doing. He was just praying. Praying for grace. This is the final conclusion of the real mantra chanting. It is praying for grace. Praying for grace and at the same time wanting to purify yourself so that you can become a better servant. But it's pray. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There's a percentage of repentance. There's a percentage of maybe being in love with the Lord. There's a percentage of desperation. Like Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, 4 types of people approach me. The wise, the curious, the poor, and the miserable. They are the ones who say, my Lord, please. When you're too proud or you're too obsessed with whatever you have in this world, then you will not be able to take it serious. What brings us together here? Why we pray together? Because we think it's nice to pray together. I like to pray with you. As a matter of fact, I like to go to Imlitala and sit on the Radha Kunda and pray. Sometimes we pray outside the water, sometimes we pray inside the water. But it's all about prayer. We pray in Bulgaria, we pray in Sweden. Doesn't matter. But we keep praying. And what you're going to do when you die? Well, you pray even more. Oh my Lord, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. Problem now. I need to make sure I don't forget you right now. Like King Kula Shekar, he was praying. My Lord, better let me die right now where I can think of you, because who knows, at a moment of death will I still think of you when my throat gets choked up by the mucus coming, then I will not think of you. So better you take me right now while I'm praying to you, my Lord, my Lord. Can you imagine the termites praying? I wonder whether they pray. I wouldn't be surprised. When you see that termite hill and how they did this and how they cooperated with each other without the revolution to make this, I mean, there's no surprise if they would be praying also. I don't know. I can't remember what it was like if I was ever a termite before. There's no scarcity of termites. It's billions, trillions. Do animals pray? Elephants pray. Elephants are servants. There was one famous elephant in South India, in Kerala. His name was Keshava. And every year, he was the biggest and the nicest one. Every year he was allowed to carry the Lord on the procession. The Lord would sit on his back with the pujaris in the great procession. And one year he was sick, so the doctor said that he had to go out and get some cure. So they took him some other place. The day this parade was coming up, they had chosen another elephant for that. And Keshava broke open from where he was confined. He broke open, ran 40 kilometers or something, some long distance, and stood in front of the temple when the deity was supposed to come out. He was there. It was my sin. We have many devotional dogs. They come to art. One we had in our farm in Ecuador. His name was Kshatriya, German Shepherd. He insisted to lie in the door of the temple. So much you could not go in the temple without stepping over him. We tried to pull him away, drive him. No. There he would be in the arctic. And as soon as the pujari blew the conch shell, he got up and every day. No fail. So the devotion of animals, well, it's just we can perceive it. But what can we perceive of the animals anyway? But we know from Shastras that the human form of life is a very special benefit and that we should really take advantage of it and not live like an animal. Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Bhavam Sada Pashyanti Surayo Vivasha Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Bhavam Sada Pashyanti Surayo Vivasha Shakshuratatam. Surya Dev. Because when we hear such stories, special stories of devotion, this is very enlivening. Gives us a lot of shraddha, a lot of faith when we hear this, how these things manifest. Praying gives our life like an injection of careful consideration of the sweet will of the Lord. Therefore praying is purifying and praying is enlightening. Because when you pray, then at that moment you're opening up to the Lord for giving you any kind of revelation He wants you to have. This morning we were listening to Prabhupada about forgiveness. And Prabhupada said that if you had a fall down in your spiritual life, accidental fall down. Accidental means you came into bad association and you fell down. And you chant Hare Krishna. That can be forgiven to you. But if you commit sinful activities thinking, oh, I will counteract them with the holy name, then the Lord will become disgusted with you. Like saying, making Krishna a washing machine of your dirty clothes or something like that, you know. Krishna is very merciful, and prayer is very powerful, and purification is very essential. And you can get the highest benefit from it. But at the same time, then one devotee said to Prabhupada in the class, he said, what about those who say that pray to Jesus, He died for my sins, and then I can go on sinning? And then Prabhupada said, whoever teaches such a thing should be hung.
Immediately.
We were a little shocked when we heard that. My God, you know. I mean, Prabhupada just says, preaching to people that they can be sinful and that somebody else paid for their sins is really sinful. Prayer and forgiveness, it's true, it exists. As a matter of fact, the Lord wants to forgive us our mistakes because He wants us to be with Him. One devotee said one time, said, it seems that Krishna is more in need than we. Because Krishna comes here and preaches that we should come to Him, that we should love Him and like this. And we take the luxury of ignoring the invitation. What a strange, this cannot be in the sun. There you can put. Even down where it's dark.
Tomilli, parece un tuareg. Te amo. Un tuareg. Qué bueno.
Arrivo.
Mama Kocha ki jai, Pacha
Jai.
ki jai,
Jai.
Mother Tiara ki jai.
Jai.
Sri Krishna, Señor del Universo ki jai.
Jai.
So yesterday we had a seminar on the Veda therapy at night. We had the agro-consciousness or agro-consciousness seminar. Today was something on astrology from Japananda, if I remember right. Astrology and Krishna consciousness, a very interesting subject. So I will also come and say a few words in this seminar, but we will also listen to our astrologers. Yes.
Gurudev, he said that to glorify Radha and Krishna indirectly is more pleasing, like when you glorify nature, and it's kind of an indirect glorification.
I didn't say that.
Is it?
No.
It's a question.
It's a question.
Yeah.
Whether you please
glorify-
Radha Krishna more when you glorify nature?
No, the question is, when you glorify nature, this is kind of an indirect glorification of Radha?
Of course, but when we want to talk about Radha, we should rather speak directly. Because her glory is the most wonderful glory. Oh. The sweet glory of Sri Radha.
Radha ki jai.
Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe.
Jai Shri Radha.
I was very surprised when I came to to the Mela location, and I found that in the living room upstairs there was hanging the picture of Radharani, trying to stop Lord Krishna from going out of Vrindavan together with her gopi friends. I said, what's happening here? Some very intense high bhav of the gopis is being displayed here in this place, and I asked Maharatna where the devotees had hung it there, and he said, no, this is hanging there since a long time. Did you hang it there?
My mom.
Did you hang this?
His mom, Lillian did.
Your mom.
For many years ago,
This is the picture which every devotee cries when they see. Because Krishna leaves Vrindavan to go to Mathura to kill Kamsa, who is the oppressor of the world, who is the representative of the demoniac influence and the misuse. That picture was waiting for us here for years in this place. So the Mela was meant to come here. It's not just having a Krishna picture. Having that picture imbibes the entire feeling of highest intensive love of the devotees for Krishna. Krishna leaving is an intolerable idea. And Krishna so craftily convinced the gopis, don't worry, I'll be back in a moment. I'm just finishing my business here. But they didn't really believe it. But they had no other choice. And the Leela is from then on the Leela of separation. Lord Jagannath is the Leela of separation. We were now in Hungary with a very fine Vaishnava philosopher, Bhakti Vichar Vishnu Maharaj, and he was saying that how the Lord manifests His drama in this world to get us completely emotionally involved in His Leela. Very deeply emotionally involved. The sannyas of Gauranga, the departure of Lord Krishna from Vrindavan. When Sita is sent out to the forest. Such amazing and painful leelas. To prepare us, to convince us that loving God is the highest. In a way, there is a message you could say, there is no happy end in this world. Because if you leave this world thinking of Krishna, that was a happy end. But there is no spiritual movie where the happy end is in this world. Even Mahaprabhu, he kind of disappears. His devotees, even until today, don't really agree where he went. You worship somebody so intensively like Mahaprabhu, and then he just vanishes. The disappearance of the Yadu dynasty, how Krishna made his dynasty just vanish from the planet. You go like, oh. So now it's time for the little bath or the return. Anybody wants to take a swim?
No.
Yes.
Yes. No.
Hmm?
No good. Better not swim.
What?
Wenn die fallen diesmal sehen, dann passiert es wahrscheinlich nicht.
Well, we can send somebody with Googles to check the area where there is where there's none of them, and there we can swim. So who wants to swim? Lift your hands. Okay, that's enough. Enough reason. The others can chant. Inside the water or outside the water.
Willst du eine davon nehmen?